Segment 3 this evening is titled The Children and the CIA. We've learned a lot of unknown activities of the CIA in years past, some of them disturbing, to say the least. Tonight, we'll learn of the agency's interest in children. Paul Altmeyer of our investigative unit has assembled these facts.
These are home movies taken in the 1950s at a European camp of the Children's International Summer Village, a program designed to bring together children from around the world for a better understanding of one another. NBC News has learned that the CIA was studying these youngsters, some as young as 11, as possible future recruits. The studies took place at summer camps in Hennefest, Norway and Vienna, Austria in 1959 and 1960. According to CIA documents we have examined, this was Sub-Project 103 of the agency's top-secret MK Ultra program. San Antonio, Texas. NBC News has also learned that the CIA paid for a study of adolescence here and in two other Texas cities, Austin and El Paso, in 1958 and 1959. It was a study of how youngsters behave without adult supervision. This study, MK Ultra Sub-Project 102, refers to data being collected on 462 subjects in 7 secondary schools. No child is identified by name.
Picture this. It's February 4th, 1987, in Tallahassee, Florida. 6 small children, ages 2 to 7, dirty, covered in insect bites, wandering a park with no adults in sight. And then 2 sharply dressed men step into view. The children don't know where they are, they don't know where they've been, and they don't know their last names. An anonymous caller alerts police. And what police uncover over the next 10 days will include allegations of ritual photographs, computer disks with coded data, documents on children being transported across borders, suspected CIA connections, a sudden federal pullback, and every single charge quietly vanishing. This is the story of the Finders, one of the strangest, most disputed cases of the 1980s. So let's get into it. The 2 men are quickly identified as Douglas Edward Ammerman, 27, and James Michael Howell, 23. They're driving a blue van packed with boxes of documents, computer equipment, and more than 20 floppy disks. The children appear to be dazed, and they speak of someone they call the game caller instead of mom or dad. They seem to be unfamiliar with everyday things like toothbrushes or beds. Police then take all 6 children into protective custody, and at this point, they still don't even know the names of the children. Investigators soon trace the men to a secretive Washington, D.C. communal group known as the Finders. The group was founded in the late 1960s by Marion David Petty, a former U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant who called himself the Game Caller, as we referred to earlier. He built what was described as a self-sufficient alternative lifestyle community based on new age ideas, travel, and total personal freedom. Petty's background immediately raised red flags. His late wife had worked for the CIA from 1952 to 1961, and his son had worked for Air America, the airline widely known as a CIA asset during the Cold War. At first glance, this could all just be a coincidence, but coincidences were really about to pile up. Here's what happens February 5th through 7th. The Tallahassee police coordinate lightning raids with the DC Metro, U.S. Customs, and the FBI. Search warrants hit 3 of the Finders' properties: a warehouse in Northeast Washington, D.C., a duplex in Glover Park, and a 90-acre farm in Virginia. Initial law enforcement reports are quite interesting. They say that they found hundreds of photos, many showing nude adults and children in the same photos, images of goats being slaughtered in what looked like a ritual setting, contact sheets, slides, and jars containing urine and feces, computer equipment loaded with encrypted files, and documents outlining methods for obtaining, transporting, and even impregnating women to acquire more children. U.S. Customs agents flagged references to international child movement. Back in Florida, things get quite interesting as medical examiners initially report possible sexual abuse on at least one of the children, and a child abuse expert publicly states that there are clear signs of mistreatment of children. Threatening calls flood the safe house where the children are being held. Things were escalating fast. It looked like the beginning of a massive child exploitation case, and then almost overnight, something changed. By February 9th, just 5 days after the children were found, the official tone flips. Police stop calling the Finders a cult, and now they're merely just an alternative lifestyle organization. DC Police Chief Maurice Turner tells reporters there is no evidence that they are a satanic cult, and they are not dangerous. What changed during that time? Police aren't saying. But then, on February 10th, investigators dig a large hole in the backyard of one of the Finders' properties, and they find nothing. New medical evaluations walk back the earlier claims. No definitive evidence of sexual abuse, only signs of stress and neglect. Right around mid-February, the mothers arrive in Tallahassee, and over the weeks, the children are returned to them. But Ammerman and Howell remain in custody. On March 17th, 6 weeks after the arrest, a judge dismisses all charges for insufficient evidence, and the two men walk free. Case closed, officially. Years later, the questions refuse to die. In 1993, former U.S. Customs officer Henry Skip Clements went public, claiming that Customs was ordered to stand down on key parts of the investigation. Evidence was classified as a CIA internal matter, and the group may have served as a front for intelligence activities. As per all CIA matters, the CIA denied any operational involvement, calling it a simple misunderstanding involving a civilian training contractor that employed one Finder as an accountant. Florida Congressman Tom Lewis publicly voiced concerns about the significant evidence and the unusual federal scrambling behind the scenes. Declassified FBI files released decades later remain heavily redacted. Some of the original investigators, including Customs agent Ramon Martinez, stood by his belief that the criminal activity was clearly visible in the photos in the documents. Others insist it was a classic 1980s satanic panic, a strange and harmless commune misunderstood and sensationalized by the media of that era. So after all this, what do we have? We still have no convictions, no trafficking charges, and no criminal conspiracy. Just a group who practices were called strange, but not illegal. And a mystery that to this day still refuses to stay buried. And in the light of recent documents released in the Epstein file, we have to question what is going on in our government. What are they hiding with children in different situations with children?
Authorities have the children and the two men accused of abusing those children, and evidence that they may be only part of a larger, dreadful story. CBS News correspondent Rita Braver reports.
Law enforcement authorities suspect they may have stumbled on an international child abuse ring when an anonymous call led police in Tallahassee, Florida, to this park. Two well-dressed men were discovered with 6 filthy, ragged, insect-bitten children, aged 2 to 6.5. A passerby with a home video camera took these pictures as the men were arrested and booked for child abuse. The children were confused, said they'd been traveling for a long time in a van, stopping at camps. Today, police released these photographs, hoping to learn more about the 6 youngsters who said they didn't know where they came from or where they were going.
But at least one of the 6 were sexually abused.
The 2 men reportedly told police the children were being weaned from their mothers and taken to Mexico for a special school for brilliant children. Papers the men were carrying led to Washington, D.C., where police last night searched a residence used by a commune or cult known as the Finders.
The women are always pregnant, and they have a child, and then they seem like they get pregnant again.
And there was another search at this Finders warehouse where law enforcement authorities said they found a photographic studio, a computer bank, and at least 3 large bags full of slides showing, according to one source, satanic, ritualistic activities involving torture, bloodletting, and sexually explicit acts involving children. Virginia police are now investigating a farm where the group reputedly brought children.
Well, look, it looked like to me that was awful, didn't weigh very much.
Uh-huh. You don't think they were well cared for then?
I think they were malnutrition.
No members of the Finders were apprehended, but police say they do have some leads. The FBI and U.S. Customs Service have now joined the investigation, and officials say they're still trying to figure out exactly what is going on and how these and perhaps other children may be involved. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.